Hello and welcome. I am Raiden. This is Blood Honey, and we are about to review Godzilla versus Kong. Now, this is pretty much the second time we watched it. We actually did return to the theater after a very long time to see this together, but we just watched it again on HBO Max because why the hell not? So, let's start with you. You're more of the Godzilla King of the Monsters fan and stuff, so I know it was like more of your deal. So like what going into this and walking away from it, how do you feel?
Um, Before we had left for the theater, I know you heard me say it. I called it. I called the team up thing. I'm like, there's no way they're gonna get away with calling one monster or the other. I'm sure they had their fights and that was really cool, but that would have really torn a lot of people. So the whole team up thing kind of worked. It was a little I didn't really like the design, but it was a little
Yeah,
different.
with any of these films, it's gotta go like one of two or one of three ways. It's like either they gotta team up, one's gotta kill the other, or some other, something's like
You
something's gonna happen. But
yeah.
yeah, I remember like during one of the trailers, like people pointed out like lights, like that one scene where you see Mechagodzilla from the bottom, those people running down the stairs and stuff. Like people point this stuff out. They're like, oh shit, that's Mechagodzilla in there. And so yeah, there was speculation early on. It's like, oh yeah, this is gonna be Mechagodzilla at the end of this movie. Spoilers, of course. Uh, yeah, so you didn't anticipate Mechagodzilla. Did you realize that,
Um
or did you?
I didn't know, like, I didn't know that. I mean, it had to be something big and it had to be good. Pause. Um but once they were in Hong Kong and then it was kind of doing the slow reveal, I'm like, yep, there it is. So, yeah, I kind of had my little nerd moment in the theater. Like, oh man, that's so cool.
Hmm.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, like just kind of go into the start of the film and kind of working our way over from there. I take my little silly ass notes as like checkpoints along the way during watching this. Okay. So at the start, you get Kong awakening, and he's
It's
just doing this
just
like
kind
little
of
daily
moseying
routine.
about,
Yeah,
yeah.
just taking this little shower in the waterfall and all that shit. And at one point, you see that he gets kind of pissed off. He throws the tree, and reveals that he's in the little chamber that's meant to look like Skull Island, and so when you actually see that, it's kind of cool when you dive into those effects and the whole idea of like this
Yeah.
fake world that he's surrounded in. It's very
Well, it's
reminiscent
kind
of.
of, it's like the Star Trek holodeck on a much bigger scale.
Yeah.
That, now that I think about it, yeah, that's like a perfect sort of comparison.
Yeah, I don't know if they really specified that, like how much of it is real because he can interact with stuff. Like, can he feel that? Like, what's real? Like, is like the water, or like the environment itself, kind of real, but like holographic, like skies and stuff. I don't think they really specified so
I
like what how much of it is like
Yeah.
because it seems like he's able to interact with the water. He can get wet. He can eat stuff. So I guess the like all the trees and stuff, I guess, are kind of real. But like I said, it's kind of surrounded by other elements filled in. I suppose. I think. I guess that's
Well,
what
I
it
mean,
is.
I
I don't
guess that
know.
would make sense
Yeah, I think
when
so.
when
Yeah.
they were kind of going through the forest and you see the little doodad on the tree. I
Yeah. Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
I don't know what that was, but
Yeah. Yeah.
it could lead
Yeah.
you to believe that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's probably what it was. But and so so you start to unravel with these characters. Chris Chalk, I don't know if you know who he is, but he's been in some things. He was actually Lucius Fox on Gotham, the one black dude that showed up early on. He's only on screen for like 5 seconds. I'm like this.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah, I'm like
Yeah, I can't say that I know him. Sorry.
yeah, yeah, because he was actually like pretty good on Gotham as like Lucius Fox. I'm like, okay, you have a guy like this, you bring him in as this like but you only use him for like 5 seconds. I'm like, you could have used him as something. Hell, he probably could have been the one dude's character, Brian Tyree Henry, the one dude that we're following throughout a lot of this with the kids and stuff. He probably could have played that character as a more like kind of serious, like knowing the situation type of thing, instead of doing what they did with this guy, which is a little like conspiracy theory heavy podcast dude, like in a in like a dark room, just spouting off and going crazy and shit. But leading into the title sequence, I would say that that's actually pretty badass. I like how they did that. They're going through all the monsters, saying defeated, 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 and then you get the two like cards of like Godzilla, Kong, and it's just like a UFC title match card.
Yeah,
like, just,
I was gonna say that's what that made me think of.
and it's like you have the pictures of them. It's like, oh shit, like you're like these two are about to go at it. Place your bets, people. And so yeah, you get the title card of Godzilla versus Kong, the lighting effect and the music. I actually do like that bit. So yeah, going back to Brian Tyree Henry, he's a fucking weird guy in this movie. I don't know how you feel about him. Did you like his character at all?
It was, well, I don't know for sure. I mean, I didn't hate him. You know, he wasn't, one of those a-hole characters.
No.
Or a B with a capital C. But I guess it was one of those helped move the human plot along.
Yeah, see, no, see, by that point, like, you bring that up, because him teaming up with the kids, the one being, Millie Bobby Brown, which I don't know why, I find her name to be kind of funny. I don't know, I guess because Bobby Brown's in there, and Millie Bobby, it just kind of rings a little funny to me, I don't know why. But yeah, and so, because she's from King of the Monsters, the previous ones that help kind of tie the films together a little bit, and her dad's in it some. He's just kind of in the background for like 2 scenes and stuff. He doesn't really do anything, and I feel like they really, if you really like break it down, their part of the plot literally kind of does nothing for the overall plot. It's more or less just kind of like
filler.
Yeah, just kind of explaining like through to the audience as to what is actually happening, because they don't actually contribute up until like the very end, where they're trying to stop Mechagodzilla, and all he does is just pour the fucking drink inside the thing. It's just like, okay, I guess you served your purpose, but other than that, they literally did nothing. I would say you would agree, right?
Well, yeah, honestly, just straight up, who goes to these movies for the people interaction? You go for the monsters and the smashing.
Some could argue though, like yeah, for some people it's just like, yeah, of course that's what you go there. That's the meat and potatoes of it all. At the same time, it's just like, well, what are the human characters really worth in this? And it's like with anything really, it's just like anything can work as long as you write it out well. And they could have done more to like write in these human characters a little bit better, to at least have someone to kind of go along with. Again, you could argue what you prefer, what you care about or not. But I mean, I'm just saying, like, they just had nothing to actually contribute as far as like that plot, except for getting from point A to point Z.
Because the whole focus was doing the Hollow Earth thing.
Yeah, that's pretty much like the
crew
whole
with Kong,
mm-hmm.
and the bit in Hong Kong and Mechagodzilla. So it's those two, and well, those 3 characters, the conspiracy theory crew, kind of ties it together, I suppose. But
yeah. I mean, I would think that though, it's like what they at least could have done, like having the daughter like Millie Bobby Brown, and like, because you see like towards the end, like right at the very end is when she's actually like, they're actually trying to get in contact with one another. I'm like, they probably could have done that at least a little bit throughout, like as things started to like ramp up, to kind of at least kind of communicate with her dad, let them know what's going on, and they could have contributed something along the way to kind of help, connect the dots a bit more, as opposed to like, oh, we're just caught up in this, we really are doing nothing except for, again, just kind of explaining the plot points to the audience. But yeah, it is what it is, I guess.
I guess you could theorize that, since he wasn't exactly of her mindset, she was probably just like, oh, the hell with it, I'm just going to go off and do this thing.
Yeah, because they're off like running
Teenager.
off with them at first, and it's just like all of a sudden be like, be like, oh yeah, here's an elevator. Oh, we're discovering this. Now all of a sudden, oh yeah, now we're in Hong Kong. Now it's just like, okay, well there you go. Which is where her dad was the whole time, which is fun. Yeah, I would say getting to the rest of the human characters like Alexander Skarsgård. I actually did
I
like
like
him.
him.
I like him in the movie for what he's worth. Yeah. I haven't really seen him in a whole lot other than when I watched True Blood, which
I know,
he was
because I
very
watched that
very good
too.
in that. I haven't seen him in Tarzan or anything like that, which I heard was basically mediocre. So, but in this movie, I'm like, he does have a good likability. He hasn't really gotten the chance to like cross over into like leading action star or anything like that. But in this one, I'm like, I saw where this guy could be like a more prominent actor in certain
It was
things.
really good.
Yeah,
I like that character. I mean, you kind of think he's a little bit of a nutter, the with his theories, and he's kind of in the basement of the school sort of
yeah,
thing. But it really, his character really holds water.
yeah,
So
yeah. He does enough to help kind of keep you invested. And so yeah, this is when he's introduced to the main villain, which some would say, yeah, you could just slap villain on his forehead and just be like, yeah, well, like, of course.
big old neon sign. I'm the bad guy. Big arrows.
yeah, and this is
We're the bad guys.
yeah, and this is when they realize the whole Hollow Earth thing, which is interesting. I mean,
It's an
as
interesting theory for sure.
yeah, as some would say, it's been like, does it really make any damn sense? Because if you, especially once you get to it, you realize it's like, so I guess the core of the Earth does like that doesn't really matter because we have a whole other surface underneath Earth, which you would think, yeah, the Earth would need to be at least like probably 10 times the size to have a whole other sort of Earth environment underneath, and you're like, yeah, probably doesn't make much sense. Maybe if it was like another dimension, or maybe in the sense of pull it to another planet, even that probably would have made more sense than like a whole like Earth surface underneath thing. But I did at least like how they played around with the reverse gravity, like once you go through,
Yeah, that was
and it's
pretty
like how it
neat.
flips. They played around with that, which actually added a little bit of a fun element to it, regardless of how logical it may or may not be. But I mean,
Well, plus it kind of is a little bit pulled from King of the Monsters because that's how they theorized how Godzilla could move around so quickly. So,
yeah,
I mean, yeah, we did find his little lair from before, but well, here we go. I mean, this it was it's super science fictiony in that aspect, I guess. You can
oh,
totally have a whole video about just about that.
I'm sure they could. Uh, the deaf girl, the one that's kind of the one that gives you the connection with Kong. I feel like she's probably the best actor in the movie, to be honest with you. Just for what little bit she's in, she doesn't talk, just a very simplistic performance where you're just kind
Yeah.
of watching her just with her expressions and just her communication with Kong, which is kind of like the connection that Kong would have with the character from the older movies, with the woman and everything, that kind of show you the humanization of Kong, and that he's not just some big monster, and that he is kind of the heart of this confrontation, the kind of which you've seen in other like versus films like in Alien vs Predator or Freddy vs Jason, where you kind of use the like at least one character that's maybe not technically a hero per se, but you kind of use them to kind of like connect with certain people to kind of again to give a certain you know personal connection, if you will, and I think for what that was, it worked. I actually felt for that little connection. Where are you going, woman? How dare you? uh, yeah, so for what that was, I liked that little bit. I feel like those were some of the more interesting moments to really give Kong his expression and his kind of human side, because Godzilla
Oh yeah.
really isn't that present in it up until the actual fights, and of course it makes more sense because Godzilla is not really the more one you connect to in that sense. Would you agree? Or
Um. Well, yeah. No, I totally got the humanization thing, and yeah, there's you can't really humanize Godzilla.
nah.
But he I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. They're two big monsters, and it was really cool watching them fight. What?
Yeah. What else? It's like fuck emotions. Be like, give me some carnage, baby. That's what I want. I like the part where Alexander Skarsgård meets the one woman at first, and they come to an agreement with the whole idea of what to do with Kong, and then he just kissed her on the cheek, and she's like, "The fuck? You just kissed me on my cheek? You fucking weird." It's like, what is this? Like, it's like, yeah, I already regret this shit. You damn right I do.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. And so them just carting Kong along in the ocean, trying to avoid Godzilla, trying to get him to Hollow Earth. And you kind of brought up the point. It's just like, well, where does Kong can take a dump? Because you would assume he would need to.
Well, I mean, they showed all the fish and him eating that, so
that's a lot of fish.
Yeah,
which Godzilla '98 reference there.
So it's like, doesn't he have to go to the bathroom? I mean, so how would he accomplish that?
We know,
down, except for kind of just.
We know there's very little logic to follow with this movie. But again, you can't help but just every now and again just being like, he needs to take his giant monkey shit off the edge of that thing, and when does he do it? Do they loosen up the chains and let him like lean off the edge or something? Did he have a janitor crew? Does he just have a little spot? Do they just?
Well, I mean, he makes the one line like, "Ooh, you can smell them."
That's what I said. I'm like, okay, well, I'm pretty sure he rips one too every now and again, because I would imagine that's like smog in a city somewhere. It's just like, yeah, you probably smell that shit for miles.
Yeah, I guess if you think about it.
Yeah. In like little bits, like little charming bits where, he tries to talk nice to the girl, try to connect with her and everything, and then, because she calls him a coward, and he's just like, oh, later on it's like, oh yeah, you're a little coward too. Of course, not knowing. I thought it'd be funny if they actually if she just called him a pussy, if she just be like, this guy's a pussy, and just be like, oh, I mean, that's just me. If I was in charge, I would, definitely.
Tried to have a little fun in that aspect, I suppose.
I mean, why not? I mean, shit. I mean, King Kong versus Godzilla. What do you want from me? And you also get the introduction of like the one, villainous woman, the kind of side character to the main villain. And it's just like, I don't know why they always
have... B with a capital C.
Yeah. And you realize it's just like, why they always have to make the... I mean, I get why, but, the bad villainess is like a model. Like, compared to everyone else, just like she's a supermodel in like her black suit and everything, which is just funny to me. Just another trope of this movie. It's just like of everything else.
Like I told you, the human characters really kind of don't matter. The human plot.
I know. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Yeah.
I know. It just helps drive the monsters along.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Yeah, because the chubby boy, he's absolutely useless, along with Millie Bobby Brown. He serves no purpose.
All he did was he's funny.
All he did was offer her the van just to get where they need to go. After that, he just pours drinks.
The McMuffin to get from A to B.
Yeah, the McMuffin. Yeah, exactly. Because he serves no purpose whatsoever.
It's tap water, remember?
Tap water.
That was pretty funny.
Yeah, that was kind of funny. I love the sequence once Godzilla comes into the picture, because of course
that was fun.
Yeah, it's a fun action sequence. I love how the one Delta, the one that swings into Godzilla's tail. As I put in my notes here, I call it. I labeled him Delta Dumbass because clearly I'm like, yeah, you got what was coming to you. I'm like, what the. Right in the Godzilla's tail, you are done for. That's why you're a Delta. You're not an Alpha. You're a Delta. That's exactly why. So good old action sequence for you. You thought it would deliver on that.
Well, yeah.
Round one.
Going through the ship, and then obviously that part where he's swatting his tail. That was hilarious. I definitely laughed in the theater.
Yeah. And see, this is why, though, like, this first sequence really tells you as to why. Because I know you were kind of talking some shit about Kong, and being like him just being a giant monkey, not being able to do anything. And gets Godzilla, I'm like, Okay, I'm a fan of both, but damn, someone's got to be in Kong's corner. I'm like, this motherfucker can throw a punch. And
Yeah,
he's gonna knock your ass out.
I give him cred. I do. It was really cool. I love my
Bam!
Godzilla. Yeah, from downtown.
Exactly.
That
Yes.
was pretty cool. You gotta love him for that.
Yeah, and the one part I love when he starts to actually throw a jet at Godzilla.
Meh.
Yeah, at least he's not. And I basically said to myself, like, well, at least he's not throwing shit. I mean, a jet is better. At least he's not doing that. Again, if it was my movie, I would have just gone all in. I've been like, he's flinging jets in this one, but logically speaking, a giant ape, he'd probably be just throwing the shit. And I'm pretty sure you would have had plenty on that whole entire boat ride with that
Well,
fish.
I
Fuck you, Zilla. Yeah, I mean, hey, give me a call. If you need a script. If you need a script. I mean,
oh my gosh, yeah.
I mean, hey,
That's too crazy.
I'm just saying, hey, what makes more logical sense to me if you.
Yeah, I suppose, but who wants to see like?
I would see that shit.
Yeah, literally. Anyway.
And yeah, and you did bring up the fact that once their first fight ended and Kong is just like kind of like hung over the ship and they're like staring at each other, you're just been like, you should have given him a big fuck. You'd be like, fuck you. Like,
that was a huge missed opportunity.
like just hanging off the ledge.
Because his hand is.
I would have just gone like,
there.
I'd be like, fuck you, man.
Or
Yeah.
the sign language version of it would
Yeah,
have been hilarious.
I would. I mean, that's sign language enough to me. I've been like, yeah, just a good old middle finger to Godzilla. Again, if I was writing this, I'm like, dude, missed opportunities, man. You could have had way more fun with this.
That was my contribution.
It would have been box office gold if you ask me. $1 billion movie, even with the
You're
situation we're in, this movie would have made $1 billion.
You're welcome.
Yeah, and so getting all this through, they get to the point where they can get him to Hollow Earth, and he starts going all underground. They start doing that whole crazy thing where they go through like basically like a portal and the whole like crazy light speed
Time warp
shit going on.
Crazy,
and this
yeah.
is why I said it's like, dude, why isn't this a 3D ride yet? Like, I don't know who can do it, but it's just like, you talking about making bank, I would say like, dude, this would make a hell of a 3D ride. I'm telling you, like, being able to just go through that, Kong and Godzilla warping past you and everything, and just all this craziness happening. I'm like, you need to get on that ASAP. I'm like, that's where it would really be fun.
Yeah, you could have a couple different versions of it too. Obviously, because just going in and doing that flying bit, and then you could have like just like a chill sort of tour around the actual atmosphere in there once they get there, and y'all following Kong along.
Yeah.
And then going back out into Hong Kong when they're fighting. That is like an awesome perspective there. Going
that's why I said,
up past Kong and then like down.
I'm like, you're like basically in a giant throne room and everything with Godzilla, and everything starts going to shit, and you just go up through the tunnel and everything. Hong Kong, lights everywhere. Like that shot, literally, when you warp right past Kong's face and you get the blast going at you. I'm like, dude, that would be the greatest ride of all time. I'd go there like every damn day if I could, if I saw that. I'm like, dude, there's so much potential for that. But as I put here, I'm like, once Kong gets to Hollow Earth, he immediately starts fucking shit up. I'm like, this is my turf now. I don't know what you think this is. I'm like, just slams them, rips them apart, has a good old drink at their expense, literally with their own bodily fluid, like just. And the woman's like, gross. I'm like, yeah, pretty gross.
Yeah, honey. Right there with you.
Yeah, I'm like, letting you know who's bossed up in this bitch. And so, okay, now we start getting into the revelation. Mechagodzilla, or as I put, Transformerzilla.
I suppose so. Yeah, the design is, I guess, super modern. But
yeah, even I thought, I'd be like, you probably could have made it a little bit cooler. I mean, I thought it was kind of cool, but something about it seemed a little off. Like, I don't know. Like, I feel like, I don't know. What do you think? Like, you think
Mechagodzilla always looked, it was like Godzilla, but it was,
this
metal. It didn't really, have much of a Godzilla aspect except for the spit and the breath and maybe kind of the spines.
Mm-hmm.
It I don't know. The design really didn't strike a chord with me. I mean, it was, yeah, like you said, it was cool, but it's just something was...
Yeah, I can't quite put your finger on it, but it just felt like, I don't know, something. I don't know what, but something. But yeah, for what that was, I'd be like, okay, so yeah, you see the point where, you know, you're starting to get to the fact it's like, what you see, it's like, yeah, they have to team up because Mr. Generic Bad Guy here, you know, just bossing one dude around. And I mean, you see where they have the head of, what was it, Mothra? Or not Mothra, but,
Ghidorah?
yeah, Ghidorah and everything. And so... And so it's just like, that's a hell of a desktop setup they got in there. That's all.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I like how the first part where they're testing it, the one guy that they have in there that's doing it, once you do the laser blast like through the mouth, I said pretty much it'd be like, dude's orgasming right there. It's just like
that face.
Yeah, it's like.
Now
I mean, I don't know what the.
see it
I mean, I
way.
can't say I imagine what the sensation is like when you're inside this chamber. You're like mentally connected to a giant killer freaking Godzilla robot. But I mean, I imagine it must feel pretty good in some way, shape, or form. I guess it felt pretty damn good to him. But yeah, this is a point where, yeah, again, starts to kind of, you know, shit starts going to hell again. You have your, you have your just kind of plot carriers showing up to confront the bad guy, and then this is when basically once they get the energy source from Hollow Earth, you know, shit starts going to hell, and Mr. Bad Guy gets his comeuppance, and because Mechagodzilla's like background literally just slowly looking over, it's like, I'm about to get you, motherfucker.
Yeah, that it's like a classic sort of scene in a movie.
Yeah.
But, you know, like it from Terminator when the machines became aware.
Yeah, that's why I was thinking in my head. I'm
So-
like machines becoming self-aware.
And it's turning like you were saying, and then everyone's like, get out. And then dude's doing
'Cause I like the three of
he's
the-
doing his bad guy speech, and then it's like, what? Ah, shit.
Yeah, I like
So-
how the three were like about to back up the room and shit. And you had the one guard behind him too that you see even just
He's
for
like,
a clip
"What's going
second.
on?"
I know that even the guard's just like, yeah, fuck this shit, get out of here, I'm done. It's just like I don't think I'm getting paid anymore after this.
No.
And the one dude gets electrocuted in the chair. It's just like, ugh, and so
Yeah,
he's done
that's
for too.
yeah.
You know, unlimited power, bitch. That's what happens. And so, yeah, in Hollow Earth and everything, you know, again, they start, you know, everything starts going to hell. And this is, of course, where, like, Kong gets his axe. And you can tell it's, like, basically like a shard, like one of the spikes from, like, Godzilla, it looks like. That's what it looked like to me and everything. And if you...
I didn't really think about that, but
If you pay
yeah,
attention, no, it looks
obviously,
like it's like off
That
the
makes
back
sense.
of Godzilla, or at least another one like Godzilla from the past or something like that. But yeah, and that's where I put like bitch got hers, because you know, once everything started going to hell and everything, she got the sample to send to the guy, and
Let's get the hell out of here. We don't need to be here anymore. And they go to fly, and he's like,
yeah, and she
And it's
yeah,
just
and you
like-
hear her audibly from outside. She's like, no, 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 no. It's like, there you go. Like too bad, bitch.
and then just drops it.
Yeah, and then of course it's where you start to get the final showdown. Godzilla and King Kong in Hong Kong, wrecking shit. Pretty much everything you want from the movie right there. You enjoyed yourself quite a bit.
Yeah, the visuals were really awesome too. The whole lights and stuff, and then obviously them smashing each other,
Yeah.
smashing buildings, going after Mecha.
Mm-hmm.
There's some pretty awesome connections there, and it was just way cool. And he's shoving the thing in Godzilla's face. That was wicked. And then,
Mm-hmm.
you know, they're chopping the crap out of Mecha. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, that entire like Hong Kong sequence between like Godzilla and King Kong at first, again, you just have like all the neon lighting across, and just a lot of great visuals right there. Again, exactly what you came for. I mean, this was it. Like I said, despite, you know, the humans not really giving you anything, again, this is what you came for. And just seeing like King Kong really, because as I said before, as I was saying, I'm like, this is where it gets interesting, because yeah, Godzilla can do this and that. But just seeing King Kong through his sheer like brute strength and just his agility, because he's moving quick, so he's dodging and shit. That's where he has the advantage. Like he's dodging, he's grabbing shit, throwing it out. It's like fuck you. It's like and just like elbow drops, like all the classic wrestling shit that you could want out of it. Which again, like I said, to me, that's what makes it like very interesting to watch him being able to hold his own against someone like Godzilla. Because again, earlier, Godzilla does a huge blast into the ground, like through Earth down to Hollow Earth, which is again meant to be like this whole other like almost zone within the Earth, and you see how strong that blast is, and you're like, shit.
You have no idea honestly how that's supposed to work, but I thought it was funny because he just has
the way they did it, it makes him
this thing like he's gonna throw up, like and then Kong's like, you're wrecking my house, man.
Yeah, basically. I mean, it's just like this again. Just the little subtle expressions that you get on their faces from time to time, where Kong is just like, this motherfucker, man, I'm sick of your shit. Stop fucking with me. I'm about to come up there and shove this axe up your ass. I swear I am. Because even that one part, you see Godzilla, even he gets a nice little smirk in. He's just like,
that was...
After he blasts Kong in the back when he's jumping all around, he's just like, fuck you.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Yeah.
But then, when there was like some building that was on fire, or there was like that big cloud of dust, and he kind of just like slips away, and then you see that he's up on that one building, and Godzilla didn't really like see him.
Yeah.
And he just whips his
that was like the one break in the fight where you seem like it's about to be done for a little bit, and then they cut back and he's just chilling up there. He just happens to have like a fucking crane in his hand, and he's just like, oh shit, that motherfucker, fucking get back. Yeah, and then that's when Godzilla starts to tear him up. He starts biting at his feet, clawing at him, basically stops his heart. And then that's when, they realize Kong is just basically dying, and then Godzilla is just like, sees Mechagodzilla, is just like, fuck this, like, this is my town. It's like, I'm not playing games. And he goes after him. And so, Alexander Skarsgård gets to the point where it's just like, you gotta restart his heart with the machine and everything, which is like, okay, fine, whatever. And then, so they have their little team-up moment, starts wrecking house. Kong is the one who eventually gets the upper hand on Mechagodzilla, starts tearing off the limbs and everything. I like the final part where he rips the skull out. He's like,
that was pretty...
and everything. It reminded me of Predator, honestly. It's just like ripping that out. He has the spine. It's like, I won this bitch. Which I guess you could say overall, I mean, since Mechagodzilla was kind of tearing both their asses up, I mean, Kong is technically he gave him the assist in the end, but Kong still was the one that did the final deed, so I say Kong technically won, if you ask me. That's just me, though. And so, after that, they're like, oh, yeah, we're cool, I guess.
GG.
I like I said too, I like the one part where Godzilla is starting to go into the water, and they kind of basically make their truce. That said, it would be a great moment if Godzilla is basically like King Kong ain't got shit on me, and Kong's like, I heard that motherfucker, but we he throws it at his head, just like
throws a stone at him or something.
It's just be like,
it's just like, oh yeah, we shouldn't have said that, and then just goes into the water.
He's just like, I'm gonna let that slide this time, okay, but don't play with me again and see what happens. And so, and then they end with Kong in Hollow Earth and monitoring him. He's just out there just chilling, doing his thing, and that's the end of the movie. And as I also said at the end, I don't know why Alexander Skarsgård was dressed like Marty McFly at the end, if you ask. He has he had the little the vest on and everything. He just looked very much like Marty McFly at the end. It just stood out to me, but whatever. That's Godzilla versus Kong. Overall, what'd you think? You walked away rather satisfied, I imagine.
Well, yeah, I had just as much fun watching this as I did watching King of the Monsters with my dad and brother. that was awesome.
Mm.
I mean, there wasn't an end credits sequence or anything, but that's okay.
Yeah, I doubt they know where they're going with this exactly, especially
Yeah, I'm
with
not
the way
sure. I
things
think they
are.
only
I don't
have
know.
one more movie to do because they only got a 3-movie deal with Toho. So I don't really know what the plan is. So we'll have to watch out for that one because I love the Godzilla stuff. I really do because I grew up watching it with my dad and grandpa,
Mm-hmm.
and so seeing this movie, seeing GVK, it was just so much fun for me.
Yeah, I mean, I dig these types of movies. I didn't get that heavily invested, honestly, up until a certain point. Because I saw the first Godzilla in 2014 when that came out. I thought it was all right for what it was. I
Yeah,
saw
I didn't
Kong.
really care for that one, but
Yeah, as some would say, it's just like Bryan Cranston's like kind of like the best part, and they kill him in like the first like hour of that shit. And then I saw Kong Skull Island. I actually did enjoy that for what they did with it. Actually, I didn't see King of the Monsters in theaters. I didn't see that up until when we started hanging out and everything. And so yeah, now we're here, Godzilla versus Kong, and it's like, yeah, for me overall, I'm like the human stuff is really kind of boring. Um, it really didn't offer much and kind of bogged the film down a bit. But once you do get to the actual action and everything, I'm like, again, that's the meat and potatoes, of course, and that's what you're looking for. I'm like, for what that is, I'm like, it was pretty damn good, I would say overall. I know some people are kind of mixed on this, they either love it or don't. Yeah, but for what it was, it delivers on exactly what it needs to for the most part. It could technically be more coherent as far as understanding and the science behind a lot of this stuff, but again, it is what it is. I
just
guess
go
I
with it.
can't just fucking
Just,
go with it. You
just go
want a
with
giant
it.
lizard and a monkey punching each other? Here you go. There you're getting it. And so, yeah, I mean, just good, solid entertainment. I probably enjoyed it a little bit more watching it here at home this time, just as a kind of like a casual watch and just taking
Well,
notes
yeah,
and
because
just
we could
doing all the
sit
little jokes
and
and everything. And
yeah.
yeah, it probably make good for a drunk watch. Probably it probably could. But yeah, for what it was, fun little time. And yeah, I guess that'll wrap up this review of Godzilla versus Kong. Although if it were me, I'd probably just have the balls and just be like, you know what? Godzilla or Kong is gonna rip Godzilla's head off, and he's gonna sit on his throne at the end with his little axe with this little skull right here. And it's just like King Kong, boom, right there at the end. But that's just me. Anyway, yeah, that'll do it for this review. We hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, subscribe if you would. If you'd like to, we would appreciate that. And yeah, we will see you around. Bye for now.